change is death. To change is to die, only for the purpose of being reborn into something new. All right, what's going on, everyone? Gabriel Santos here, and I was just about to leave the park because I just made the video you probably watched yesterday, but I was struck with a philosophical message, and that which is to change is to die. Right? And so this video will be particularly helpful for many of you, just kind of have a new angle of understanding when it comes to change. Okay, so I'm going to use an example from when I hiked atop Mount Whitney, which is the tallest mountain in the contiguous US, which is all the states except Hawaii and Alaska. And that mountain was 22 miles round trip, 50 pounds of gear on my back, and over 14,000 feet tall to the summit. Okay, but prior to me doing that, I had no experience, basically. I had very little experience climbing mountains, and to climb that mountain, to go 22 miles, 50 pounds on my fucking back, on a super slanted angle in which I could get seriously injured, that was way beyond my comfort zone, one, and way beyond my sense of what's possible for me, right? So basically, I was on the absolute edge of myself. And what I mean by that is I was pushing the limits. I was pushing the boundaries of what I'm capable of and who I know myself to be, right? Because before that mountain, you know, my life was all about comfort, all about ease, all about always being in control of my environment, which means I spent almost all my time either alone or in my room or both, right? Because when you're someone like me who needed to always be in control, being around people was a huge sense of uncertainty, because I can't control other people. I can't control what they do. I couldn't control what they think about me. I couldn't control my ability to impress them or have them like me, right? These are all things in my past. And so to go up this mountain required a different version of me in order to do it. And what happened was, in the week leading up to that hike, I fell into a state of absolute depression, absolute survival mode. And the reason is because the old me, which was the current me back then, right? The one that needs comfort, needs ease, needs certainty through controlling my environment, I was about to step into a place where it was all discomfort, super difficult, and I couldn't control it, right? An avalanche could come and take us out. I could fucking fall off a cliff. I could, whatever, a host of things, right? I'm hanging out with people I don't even know, right? And so what happened in the week leading up to that mountain is I fell into a state of depression because the old me was like mega stressed, right? Oh my God, no comfort. Oh my God, no control. Oh my God, no, everything I know, it's not there anymore, right? And so how this relates to changes to die is that the old me had to die in order for me to get up that mountain. It's impossible for someone who is obsessed with comfort, ease, and control to do something that requires them to be extremely uncomfortable, extremely challenged, and extremely out of their element. And so how this relates to you is that if you want to change, as you go through a change with your marijuana abuse, your marijuana dependency and addiction, the version of you of the past must die in order for the new version of you to arise. And so if the old version of you would always run to marijuana for every reason, no matter what, because you're just obsessed with always feeling stoned, can't handle any stress, that part of you must die in favor of someone who's more grounded, someone who's more emotionally mature. And so the old versions of you must die. The old beliefs must die. The old habits must die. The old everything of your past must die in order for there to be room, for there to be space for something new to take its place. You can't be both disciplined and undisciplined at the same time. You're either one or the other. Not to say that you couldn't go from one or the other, in the span of a week. But what happens is people go on, let's say, a 30-day weed-free challenge where they exercise extreme discipline, and then they think that once they introduce weed back in their life that they automatically are going to be disciplined. No! To be disciplined is to be disciplined, period. Continuing on. You don't just get disciplined weed smoking for free. You actually have to stay disciplined, even when you decide to reintroduce marijuana into your life. Okay, so what's happening for many of you is you exercise discipline, you smoke weed, and then you stop exercising discipline, expecting cravings to no longer come to you. No. If you reintroduce weed into your life and the cravings come, you have to say no. No when it's not the time. Not whatever. Right? So, sorry guys, sometimes I can come off maybe a little harsh. And I'm only harsh because there is an extreme disconnect sometimes between what we say we want and then what we decide to do. And as someone who's more or less on the other side of the fence, it's like I can see it more clearly, and I feel like I have some sense of permission to be this way because that's where I was too. So forgive me if anytime, if ever you feel like I'm coming off a certain way that's not helpful. Okay, that's not my intent. I'm just so passionate and so obsessed for people who claim they are stuck to hear what I'm saying. I'm desperate for you guys to be free from this cycle because it is the worst. Okay? But to wrap this up, to change is to die. Okay? And you can't be something new and the same. You can't be a new version of you and the old version of you at the same time. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. There can be kind of like a weaning off process, right? Like maybe before you're 100% about immediate gratification and 0% about long-term through discipline. And then over time, maybe it starts to become like a 90-10 split, 20-80, 50-50, right? And then eventually the version of you that you want to be, you'll be majority of the time, and that will be your new normal. But like I always fucking say, and like Tony Robbins taught me, you have to pay the price. You have to pay the price to be a transformed version of you, and that requires you doing the things that you must do in order to be that version of you. Like, tell me how silly this fucking sounds. Like, oh, I want to be in shape. Okay, you need to go to the gym, and then it's time to go to the gym, and then you don't go. Like, and that's exactly the fork in the road moment, right? So maybe one last example. All right, let's say you just finished a 7-day weed-free completion experience. Okay, and so you have a joint in front of you. You have two paths. Okay. Am I going to be the version of me that smokes this and then spirals backward like you always did? Or are you going to smoke this joint, be disciplined, and move forward living your life powerfully? That's the fork in the road moment. Now here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing. The old you already has a million pathways, right? A million neural connections that make that easy, right? And so it might feel more comfortable to do it that way because that's what you're used to. And if you do decide to go this way, right, to actually be transformed, it's gonna feel different because you're effectively breaking the molds of your old patterns and literally almost like a person who's trekking a new trail in a hiking mountain. You're doing that shit manually, right? You're like, right? So consider this, that you've already walked the path of ease and comfort a billion times, that you, like, the pathway is fucking wide open, nicely paved, right? Has all of the trail markers laid down. So it's like, I'm just gonna go that way. That's easy. I've done this before. Whereas the new part of you, the transformed part of you, the powerful person in you, right? That pathway has yet to be etched. And so you have to fucking dig out the dirt, pull the weeds, make a path, right? You don't know where you're going. You have to create it on your own. All right, so that's what you're doing. You're paving a new fucking path called powerful, disciplined, grown, mature, stable, right? All these things. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. To change is to die, only to be reborn into something new. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.